Back once again for the renegade master. 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 Back once again for the renegade master.
Hello my renegades and welcome back. I hope you've all been well and we are here now and I am going to talk about Love is Blind season 4 and it is called After the Altar. So just before we get into it, as I always say, please hit that subscribe button, please hit that notification button so when you know I am on and making videos, and we will get down to it. So what we have to remember for After the Altar, like, this is just showing us what's happened before they had the reunion a year after they've been married, because this year they would have been married for at least 2 years now. So we're still playing the catch-up game a year later in terms of what's gone on in their lives a year after they've been married, but before they attended the reunion. So in episode 14, we see that Tiff and Brett are still married. We see that Zach and Bliss are still married. We see that Kwame and Chelsea are still married, and they're all happily just getting along with each other. I said I do love me some Tiff and Brett. Them a couple goals. I love me some Tiff and Brittany, and I do love actually Bliss and Zach. I do like Chelsea and Kwame, but I think I'm more like Chelsea than I do Kwame at certain points. But other than that, you can see that they're getting along. They show you how their lives are turning out. We know that Tiffany has gone to live with Brett in Portland, so she's moved away from Seattle, so she's made that change. And then also, even though we saw Kwame in the episodes talking about having to give this compromise, and I'm like, what are you compromising? It's actually Chelsea that explains exactly what he compromised and what he sacrificed in order to be with her and be married to her at the end of the day. And he did make a lot of sacrifices. I ain't gonna lie, he really did make a lot of sacrifices. So we know that the main couples, I think Bliss and Zach and Kwame and Chelsea are very close because they literally live minutes from each other. So they're literally always out or spending time together or going on holidays together, as they showed the picture when they went on holiday together and they literally had a hotel room where it was 2 beds in that hotel room. And you see Zach and Kwame sleeping on their separate beds with their hands held out. And they were actually in the same position as each other. So you can see that they've remained, each and every one of them have remained close. And yes, Tiffany and Brett may live further out in terms of it being in Portland, but you can see that when they meet up, they are literally all the couples are literally really quite close to each other. So then it moves on to, we see Micah, and we see Micah talking to Paul's mum, and I'm like, how are you still having a relationship with Paul's mum? It's not even that. How is Paul's mum managing to have a relationship with Micah at the end of the day, knowing full well that Paul said no at the altar? Do you know what I mean? He broke that girl's heart and then they moved on. I don't understand why you're still in this girl's life. And then also, it's not just the fact that you're still in this girl's life, you're feeding her information in regards to like Paul dating someone, but you haven't met the person that Paul's dating. And then that gives pause for Micah, because Micah's thinking, well, why is he texting me? Why is he saying certain things in regards to in regards to them talking, when in actuality he hasn't told her that he's actually dating. But to her it's like he's keeping the door open for her to wander back in and to actually see if they can pick up where they left off, basically. Now, I don't think it's that at all. I think it's a case of they've been through this experience. It's a freaking tumultuous experience. It's an intensive experience. And yes, Paul decided to say no at the altar, but at the end of the day, it doesn't mean that he didn't love the girl. It doesn't mean that he didn't love the girl, because Micah's still harping on a year later the fact that he turned around and said that, you know, she wasn't motherly, she wasn't X, Y, and Z in terms of when it came to kids. But in actuality, she's saying that that's wrong. Now, I would say when I was watching the show that she didn't give that vibe. She didn't give that vibe. She gave the vibe of being quite childish, to be fair. She didn't give the vibe that she wanted to really settle down and she wanted to really make a life with Paul. Because my thing is, if she hadn't have said, you go first to him, rather than saying yes, would he have changed his mind? If she had said yes, would he have said yes too? That's the big crux of it. That's the what if between them two. If she hadn't did what she did first, would he have then been gung-ho and said yes to? That's the what if, as I already said, between Paul and Micah. But as I said, I find it weird that Paul's mum has this kind of connection and close relationship with Micah and is telling Micah Paul's business. At the end of the day, they're not together like that. And then we move to Jackie and Josh. Jackie and Josh. I am amazed that they've lasted that long and they still continue to be together. I am amazed, because I do believe there was trouble in paradise when we go off all the other episodes after the altering terms of what's happened thus far between them two. I still don't think he has any respect. Like, I don't, not professing to know Josh in a way bit slightest. This is how you perceive a person from off the screen, and he doesn't come across good from off the screen. That's all I'm saying. He really doesn't. And also the thing with Jackie is because the shit that she did towards Marshall, at the end of the day, the shit that she did towards Marshall and how she went about it when she didn't want to be in a relationship with Marshall at the end of the day. So I don't know how these two will continue to work out and continue to do what they're doing, but at the end of the day, she's picked a man that she would normally go for. She usually, as she used to say, she used to pick toxic men in terms of their selfishness and never thought about them and never really her. And the way that Josh behaves and how he comes across is that he's that type of guy where he classes him. He's one of those ones that will class himself as an alpha male. No such thing as an alpha male, but he will class himself as an alpha male and what comes under the umbrella of that, and expects Jackie to fall in line with what he wants and how he wants things to be. But again, I digress. We shall see how they carry on in the rest of the episodes. So then you see Paul having a chat like with his mum, like they're cooking a meal in his apartment, having a chat with his mum. And basically he is telling his mum like the issues that he had with Micah and the fact that he is dating somebody else and would like his mum to meet that person. And I'm like, his mum is quite quiet on the microphone in that sense. She, in the beginning, she was quite quiet on the microphone and letting Paul say his piece and what he needed to say. And basically Paul was kind of speaking about Micah, but saying that he's quite confused in terms of her actions. Because at first it was, I don't want to talk to you, I don't want anything to do with you. Then it's a case of, I want to be able to talk to you and have that connection with you, which is what he allowed to do, and that's why they text back and forth. And now it's a case of, she doesn't really want to date, but she wants to see how things go. So he's quite confused by her, and now she moved all the way out of Seattle, and now she's moved all the way back into Seattle. So he doesn't understand why she made that move at all. So he wants to see how things go from that point of view. But he's definitely saying that he is dating somebody else. So I don't think he's going to have that space for Micah. As I said before, I think he's literally entertaining Micah because of the fact that he feels bad that he said no to her at the altar and realised how much that hurt her, but hasn't lost that love for her, if you get what I mean. That's what I'm thinking he's doing it for. But then his mum is like starting, you see the little tidbits that she keeps throwing in terms of saying how cute Micah is and throwing little positives about Micah, and then basically at the end of the discussion telling him that, you know, begging goes a long way. No, my love, no. You may be close to your son, but Paul is a grown-ass man and will make his own decisions when it comes to his love life. If he wanted to get Micah back, he would put the work in to get Micah back if he really wanted to. But at the moment, he's dating someone else. Now, that springs to mind to me that when Paul makes the jump in order to introduce this new girl to his mother, just by the fact that she still has a connection to Micah and still wants to see Paul and Micah together, I don't think she's going to like any of Paul's new girlfriends that she brings up. And that's something that his mum's going to have to deal with in that sense. But yeah, giving the advice to your son about begging goes a long way is not the one. It's not the one. So as we're closing down to the end of this episode, you see that Chelsea and Kwame, Brett and Tiffany, and Bliss and Zach all have a couples dinner together, basically. And they're all talking about their experiences and what they've been through thus far, and how much of an emotional roller coaster it is. And then Zach has the bright idea, as they do within this program, because I don't think it was necessarily Zach's idea. I believe it may have been the producer's idea to invite everybody else into the program as well, to get people watching. Is basically to invite the rest of the castmates, the rest of the pod squads, as they call them, into the filming in regards to putting together a football team. So just to basically get everybody together, to let bygones be bygones, and to let everybody talk and get rid of all the bad blood. Basically, they're not there for no drama. That's what they're seeing it as. Now, my first thought is that this shit is going to be one tension-filled flipping football game, because you're literally going to be putting people into spaces where there's going to be full-on tension going on. Like, you invite Marshall, you invite Josh, you invite Jackie. First bit of tension. This issue with Josh and this other girl, if she's invited, another bit of tension. So then you've got also the Micah and the Chelsea and the Kwame situation, another bit of tension. Then you've got bloody Micah and Paul, another bit of tension. Then you've got Arena and everybody else and tension. Do you know what I mean? Then you've got Amber in there and Paul and tension. So I don't know what their ideas were in trying to get all these people together, but they're going to do it, and we will talk about it in the next episode. So that is where I'm going to leave you for now, my lovely lot. Okay? So as I always say, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that notification button. And anything else that you wish to do, please do so. And I will see you all on the flip side. Peace out.